Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of my talk here with Mike Delcanho on the GBYWN Australian podcast. I said ladies and gentlemen, but we all know that only gentlemen are listening to this. And most likely guys who have not got the most amazing romantic life.
That's me.
Might not do well with the females if you're listening to a backyard wrestling podcast. But anyway...
I love how most of the people who listen probably know most of the stories already, because most of the people who listen to this are the WZWA boys.
Well, there are some guys in over east that listen to these. And,
Actually?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
A couple of guys from the States listen to it too, even though they don't know what's going on really. But
yeah, they have no idea who we are or what we do.
I mean, they probably stop listening after 5 minutes.
Yeah, when they realise they have no idea what we're referring to.
Yeah, so, okay, we left off at the end of the the ICWS run that you had there.
Mm-hmm.
And WZWA had a few shows with The Ring, but you had not attended just yet.
That is correct, yep.
But then by, I believe it was November, we had a show called WZWA Revenge. And you're making your debut.
Yes.
And I booked you in your first match to wrestle me for the WZWA Heavyweight Championship.
God, I hated that match.
Leading up to this match, how are you thinking? You're watching the recaps of the shows that we're having. What are you thinking of WZWA, and why did you say I want to join?
I said I want to join because it's more wrestling. And I've always been someone who, when the opportunity to wrestle has come up, I'd take it. 'Cause I just love wrestling. So, you know what? It was guys I knew. It was a few guys I didn't. It was a ring. And I was like, holy crap, this is a real ring. Like, I haven't wrestled in a ring since I got trained. And so I'm like, screw it. Sure. Awesome. And so I messaged, it must have been Jack, and said, book me, please.
Yep.
And you were the booker. And you booked yourself against moi.
Yeah, well, I thought, what better way to bring you in than main event? And I know at the time there was a little bit of hate on me for booking you to face me for the championship. So that's why I said in my promo, Mike Delcanho, challenging me for the championship tonight, he doesn't need to win a contendership match to challenge me. He's already a main eventer in my eyes. How did you feel when I made that comment?
I remember watching that promo and thinking, shit, am I actually like that level right now, where it's like, John Cena 2008 level, where Vicky Guerrero's like, hey, Chris Jericho, you're defending your world championship against the returning John Cena. It's like, why the fuck is he getting a title shot?
Well, I mean, I got to build you up by saying things like that, because if I talk down about you and I bet you, then that win doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So...
no, you definitely built me up as a credible threat, and,
I built you up, and then we had a shit match.
We had an atrocious match.
I mean,
it was
when we
so
hit things,
slow.
it was okay, but it was fucking slow. The crowd didn't give a shit.
I don't think the crowd could be given less of a shit, if physically possible. I honestly think, when you say...
I thought they would have been excited for your debut.
When you say you couldn't care less, they genuinely couldn't care less.
Mm-hmm. They
were dead.
I think at that time there was a lot of problems between me and some of the roster, because they weren't happy with the position I put myself in. But I felt at the time it was appropriate that someone who could cut a promo would be the heel champion, to ultimately let a babyface overcome the odds and beat him. But
for some reason, that was low.
That was low. Anyway, so we had a bit of a dreadful match, but for what we hit, it wasn't too bad, but for everything we didn't do, it was horrible. Yeah. So then from there, Alex Stone had screwed you in this match, and you got to wrestle him on a show where the footage got lost, which was Christmas Carnage.
I am so upset that there is no footage of that match.
I'm upset too, because it was a really good match.
It was. I mean, he hit me with a crossbody, which made me physically throw up. I just eaten, and I was whatever, so he hit me with this diving crossbody. And I just felt something in me, like, I just poked my head over the side of the ring and just yak everywhere.
I had no idea. I never knew that until now.
Yep, no, that happened.
Wow.
I hit a split-legged moonsault, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't hit it, I missed it, but it was just cool. And then we finished it off with Tower of London style Twist of Fate, which was cool.
Yep.
And yeah, it was just a nice little match that we had.
Yep. And I was trying to build up Alex at that point, so that's why you lost a second match. I was trying to build Alex up into being one of the top stars in WZWA.
Then I was also in the Battlefield Brawl later
Yeah.
that night, which was quite fun, actually. I was one of the first two with Jack Wallace.
Yeah, that's right.
Which we started off with a sequence of weird, ridiculous. Like, it started off literally, I had my back turned, he hit me with a reverse Rana, he climbed the top rope, I climbed after him, hit him with a Spanish fly.
Yeah.
And it was just like, why?
Awesome.
Why is that the start of
And what pisses me off is when you see that Spanish fly, there's no reaction.
Of course not. Why would they? No, they'd actually...
It was silent when you landed, wasn't it silent?
It was like you could just hear the ring reverberating.
Yeah.
Shit, you're right.
And I was watching back going, what the fuck is wrong with it? It's the first time we've ever seen a Spanish fly off the top rope, and no one reacted.
Yeah.
Anyway, from there you have one more match before the end of your short run in WZWA, and it's a three-way Aussie title match at Resolution with Clint Marshall and Mykonos.
I love this match. I loved it. This was the match that when I was... Because this was my last match for reference. I went to Israel for a year in 2013. So this was my last match before then. That was always the match I showed people when I explained what I did. Because it was just, had some great spots, had some great double team wrestling. It was simple, it was clean. I loved it.
And it was used as a vehicle to make Mykonos a bigger deal.
Exactly.
To beat Clint Marshall and Mike Delcanho.
Exactly. He cleanly pinned Clint with a frog splash, because that was the finisher he was using for those few months.
Yep.
Every few months he decides on a new finisher. Now it's apparently the neckbreaker spinning forearm to a schoolboy. That's apparently his new finisher. It's a schoolboy.
when he hits that roaring elbow properly, it looks really fucking good. But
now he's just doing it with a schoolboy afterwards every time. It's like, shouldn't you be knocked out with a roaring elbow to the back of... Anyway, that's beside the point.
Anyway, it's beside the point. But, so, your short run, I don't think you were very happy with it.
No, not at all. I, had 3 matches, lost all of them. Had a decent position on the card, but it was just like... It was almost like I was just a guy who was there.
I think that was kind of the way I was thinking of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was only there for 3 events, so that's
So there wasn't much I could do in 3 shows. Do a little bit with you and me, a bit with Alex, so you could wrestle us both. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, our match wasn't very good. But the match with Alex was good. The 3-way at Resolution was good. I thought that this would probably be your last match of any time that you were wrestling. I didn't think you were going to come back.
What, you didn't think I was going to come back from Israel?
I thought you were going to come back, but I didn't think you were going to wrestle after that. Huh. At the beginning, anyway.
Okay.
So you spend a year in Israel, and you're watching the recaps, you're seeing how the WZWA is evolving. What are you thinking of everything that's going on?
I just think, shit, when I come back, like, I'm going to have a lot to compete with. I remember I wrote a very impassioned post saying, you know what, I'm never going to be able to match... I remember the exact, terms I used were the fluidity of Luke Monet, the raw strength of Antilochus, because those, it's just something you couldn't learn. And when these kids originally came to ICWS, they wrestled a showcase match at ICWS Twisted Metal 6.
Yeah,
it was it was Antilochus versus Jack Wallace.
Yeah,
it just blew us all away. We were expecting these kids to be what we were when we were kids, and they weren't. They were far and above what we were when we were children.
Yeah.
And so I was watching these recaps thinking, man, this is getting really good. And so I came up with the best plan. I think this is probably the best work I've ever pulled.
Yeah.
I reckon.
I would say so.
I wrote a long post explaining my retirement from wrestling. Saying I'd lost interest in the product, and saying that when I came back to Australia, I wasn't going to be returned to wrestling. The only person who knew that this was a blatant lie was Carl.
Yes.
So I was basically about 8 months in advance. I had planned a surprise return.
Yeah,
which was fun.
And I can't really remember, but what forms did this come in? Was it always going to be against Ryan Tate for the Backyard title?
I said whoever. You said Ryan Tate with me going over the Backyard title. I'm like, cool, like great, like awesome, sure. So then I messaged Ryan and said, this is what's happening. It's like, awesome, wow, I get a long title reign. You threw a bit of a curveball in there by having him lose the belt for an event, and I was just watching the recap like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to throw a curveball. I
was like, what just happened? Like, you swerved me when I'm in Israel. Like, how did you physically do that? Yeah, and then you won the belt back, and so I was like, cool, this is still happening.
Yeah.
It was during this time that I was watching the recaps, and this hardcore shit was happening.
Yeah.
Jesus. Man, I've never been more pissed off while
It
watching.
was going over.
Because there were three people, basically, in Perth who knew I was going to be coming back. It was Carl, Ryan, and Justin. Because I told Justin, because I was so frustrated not having anyone to talk to about wrestling. That was why. It was just, I felt like I was pissing off Carl and Ryan, because everyone else I had to pretend like I was over wrestling. And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm telling Justin. So I told Justin, and I remember I was in a train station in Israel just talking to Justin about what happened at that event, which was the one where Rex Regan broke his finger. This was during all the hardcore shit, the barbed wire trampoline, and I was just like, this is so shit. This is just like, this is so not what I want to come back to.
I believe it was Battle War Revolution, where we had what was it called, a Battle War match. It's the one time we ever did it, and it went way overboard.
Oh, was that the one where...
It was like three teams of two, franchise, Black Carnival, and the Rebellion. You had to... I think the franchise had to put someone through light tubes in order to be qualified to go for a pinfall. Black Carnival had to do something with barbed wire, and Rebellion had to do something with thumbtacks. That was the idea.
I am so glad I was not there live, because I would have genuinely...
And Ice couldn't wrestle, so I had to go in there as Esqueleto.
It was great. It was Rex Regan and Esqueleto representing the Black Carnival.
And we won. And I'm pretty sure... I can't remember really. I don't know if Esqueleto actually got the pin. I can't remember. I think maybe... It was either Rex or Esqueleto who got the pin on Antilochus on the barbed wire bed. But the match went overboard, but they were all proud of it at the time, but I thought this went way too far.
No,
we went too far this time.
There's a point, like, I'm not particular, I understand hardcore wrestling's place, and to me its place is a feud ender. That's what hardcore wrestling is.
Yeah.
It's not a division.
Yeah.
It's not an all match thing. It's not that you never have an event with all hardcore matches. I disagree with that. I think it's two guys have been having a feud with singles matches or tag matches or whatever, and to settle the score, you loosen the rules on them.
I agree, and I'm kind of over the hardcore hell shows.
I agree. I think it got to a point where you were just like struggling for stipulations, and it shouldn't get to that point.
And it wasn't supposed to be a show of all different stipulations in the first place. It was just supposed to be a show where there was no rules.
But that's just repetitive. That's everyone.
But you could be hardcore if you wanted, but if you didn't want to, you didn't necessarily have to use weapons.
Anyway, I still disagree with the concept of a show where there are no disqualifications, because to me that ruins the allure of wrestling. To me, wrestling is a simulated contest, and you can't have a simulated contest where, hey, just for today, there are no rules. Do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah. I don't agree with that mentality.
Yeah, it is kind of shit. I'm over it now. I'm over the hardcore thing, but we've got the GBYWN World Hardcore Championship, so we still
I'm going to piss on it.
We still have to do it, and I think Antilochus is doing a good job. But anyway, so, okay, you're still in Israel. Now, I'm going to say one thing right now, and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, but no one else will. Kangaroo. So, okay, for those playing at home, Mike Delcanho contacted a local Israeli wrestling federation, a professional one, and you managed to get yourself a match.
Mm-hmm.
How did this come about? What happened?
I was walking around in Tel Aviv, which is the party city of Israel. And I was walking past a club, and I saw a flyer for a wrestling show, and I'm just like, holy shit, yes. I'm desperate to watch any wrestling at this point. And so I clicked attending. I clicked attending on a little Facebook group that's there. Yeah. I'm like, sick, I'm going to this. I plan my entire schedule around going to this event. I'm like, this is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks after that, I'm walking around Jerusalem, and I'm just like, wait a minute, I want to wrestle. Like, I miss wrestling itself, and I know how to wrestle. I've been trained in the basics of professional wrestling. I've had enough backyard experience that I trust myself with not killing him.
Plus, you did some training with Schwa, so
exactly.
you had done something.
Exactly. So I messaged the page directly, because I didn't know who owned this place. And I'm just like, hey, my name's Mike. I'm 18 years old, from Australia. I'm trained, and if you would like, I can wrestle for you. I would love to wrestle for you. It would be a great opportunity. Yada, 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 yada. get a response instantaneously saying, text our promoter at this number.
Okay, yep.
Which is the same guy who sent the message telling me to message him. He sent me a message with his own mobile number saying, message the promoter. Not message me, message the promoter, and it's the same guy. Anyway, so I messaged this guy's name is Maran. Lovely bloke, loves wrestling, is very passionate about his company. So I meet with him in a random coffee shop cafe in like a mall in Herzliya. Israel, you can move around cities very easily. So I literally caught a $3 bus from Jerusalem, then caught another one from Tel Aviv to get to the city, Herzliya.
Fucking hell. This is amazing. This is amazing as far as I'm concerned right now. This is the best part of the story.
So I meet him, I walk in, I'm like, okay, I hope I know what this guy looks like. He, says, Mike. I'm like, yes. He, shakes my hand, I sit down, he's like, okay, so tell me about yourself.
So is he talking in English?
English, yeah. Very broken English. My Hebrew is passable, but his English is far better than my Hebrew. Okay. So we decided to speak in English. When I speak to him now, when I message him on Facebook, I speak to him in Hebrew, just because I want to practice.
And when you first start the conversation, do you say Hebrew?
Yes, every time. It never gets old.
Continue, sorry.
Anyway, so he's like, okay, so tell me about your wrestling style. Okay, I do high flyer, I can do a bit of power stuff, technical, whatever. He's like, cool, what's your finisher? And I'm thinking, shit. Okay, I don't want to give him, like, my yarding finisher, because I probably can't do that on most of the people there. I don't want to give him an over easy. So I'm thinking, fuck, what do I do? So I say, Shining Wizard. Now, just for reference, I have probably the worst Shining Wizard.
Why did you say Shining Wizard? Why don't you say Cloverleaf?
Because I wanted to sound cool. I wanted to sound cool.
Okay.
And so I said Shining Wizard. And he's just like, okay, cool. Alright, you know what? Come down to the next show, before the show, and just run the ropes, show us that you won't kill someone. So I'm like, cool, fair. So I go to Tel Aviv, I'm ready, I'm in the city, I text him, hey man, what's the address? Oh, sorry, ring's not set up. I'm like, oh, okay, when will it be? Just before the show, just come watch the show. I'm just like, what? And so, screw it, whatever. So go pay a ticket, go to the show, he's behind the counter just doing tickets, shake his hand, say hi, how you going, blah, blah, watch the show. We are very blessed here in Australia in that the standard of independent wrestling is quite high. Israel's not as high. There are some good wrestlers in there. There was a guy Ken Kurbis, who I still remember thinking, wow, that guy's a good drop kick. He's got a very good heel character. He's great. Mm-hmm. But mostly, it's not that good. And so I'm like, I can blitz these motherfuckers. I believe that is exactly what I said to myself. And so I had to leave halfway through the show. I shook Moran's hand, said we'll be in touch, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, okay, you're going to be facing XYZ. I don't remember who it was. He's like, cool. I'm like, awesome. A week later, sorry, he's pulled out. Okay, you're going to be facing this other guy. I'm like, okay, is he a small guy too? Because the other guy was going to be a small high flyer. So I'm like, sick. No, it's going to be 6'7" Big Leo. I'm just like, okay, fuck. I talked to Big Leo for a bit on Facebook. He says, sorry man, you don't have any videos of you doing pro wrestling. I don't trust that you won't injure me. I'm like, alright, fair enough, whatever.
Fuck.
Then there's this fed's called AWO. There was another fed called IWL, Israeli Wrestling League. And they had this wrestler called B-Boy Adrenaline, who does a breakdancing gimmick.
Yeah.
And he hadn't wrestled for a few years. He was pretty much like a jobber in the fed. Like, he still could do some pretty good shit, but he never won. Ever.
Yeah.
And then Maran sent me a message saying, okay, message this guy, his name's Israel Goldrat. And I know, fuck. His name is so fucking Jewish. I'm like, cool. So I meet him in the train station in Tel Aviv. And we get coffee and we plan out this match. And, it's going to be nice that he's going over, because, they're not going to put over the random Australian kid who'd never seen wrestle, like, in all fairness.
Yeah, of course.
That's pretty fair.
Of course.
And we work out a match. I laugh at half the shit he says, because, we're going through spots. Okay, so I do wheelbarrow suplex. I'm like, no, wheelbarrow, not wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow suplex. No.
Wheelbarrow suplex.
It's just
awesome.
So going through the spots, it's like, okay, awesome, cool. He picks me up from the train station on the day of the event. We drive to the event. I meet all the other guys. Nice guys. The difference between Israeli wrestling and, Australian wrestling is that you're backstage in an Israeli show, they're all laughing to themselves in Hebrew and making fun of the one guy who didn't serve in a combat unit in the army.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like this weird vibe backstage, but I like it. Anyway, and there's Joe E. Legend was there as well, who's a Canadian wrestler who was Edge's first tag team partner.
Formerly known as Just Joe in the WWF.
Woohoo! Wow, we got a trivia buff here.
Yeah.
I
remember Just Joe.
So I was backstage with him. It was nice to meet him. Great guy.
Was Chris Masters on the show?
No, that was a later show.
Okay.
With Carlito. They get a few internationals in there. Anyway. So I wrestled for them in a dark match, I found out, because it didn't get filmed. There are pictures, but no film, which is pretty shit.
That sucks.
I came out to B-Boy Adrenaline's entrance music, because they just kept it going, and were like, no, Mike, go out. I'm like, what? Like, I have Land Down Under by Men at Work ready. Like,
it was perfect.
I know. I came out with an Australian flag, with mini Australian flags. Man, anyway.
Why didn't they do? Oh,
I don't know.
bloody
Anyway,
hell.
so I came out.
And what do they introduce you as?
Oh, that's right. So I said, listen, just call me Mike Barrett. Okay? That's what I want you to call me. That's it. I couldn't be bothered thinking of a new ring name, whatever. And me Australia, Michael. I'm just like,
Michael.
what?
Your wrestling name is Michael.
Michael. I'm just
Michael.
like,
You sound like a kid who's studying at the library.
I'm just like, Michael. That's it. I'm standing in the ring. I obviously can't look too pissed off. I'm just like, what the fuck, mate? Did you actually just call me Michael as my ring name? And so we work the match. We get a standing ovation.
Really?
A standing ovation. They have never seen wrestling like this, because we booked this match really well. Great counters, the kind of stuff I'm used to. Great counters, great high-flying spots. I had a running shooting star press, which they would have you would have imagined they'd seen Jesus Christ reincarnated, the way they were reacting to the spot. They loved it.
They didn't film the fucking amazing
They got a kangaroo. I got a kangaroo chant, which is what Carl was referring to earlier. I just taunted the crowd. It was great. I loved it. I got backstage. They said, well done, whatever. Standing ovation by the crowd. I was like, fuck. And then I had to leave, because I had to go somewhere, because it was a friend's birthday or something.
Okay.
So I messaged my run afterwards. Hey man, is there any footage? No.
Fuck.
No. Now look at cagematch.net, which is a German site dedicated to all independent wrestling results.
Yes.
And I'm just looking through. I'm just like, please tell me at least my match is on there. B-Boy Adrenaline defeated David Starr. I'm just like, what? David Starr was my masked ring name as a Jewish character for the Southern Hemisphere Wrestling Alliance back in 2011. I'm just like, how? Now I remembered I was talking backstage to one of the guys and I mentioned the David Starr story. And so from then, they couldn't remember my name clearly, so they just put it down as David Starr. And that is the story of how I wrestled. I'm now an I'm an international professional wrestler, officially.
And you've had 2 matches known as David Starr, one with a mask, one without a mask.
I've lost twice, once in Australia, once in Israel.
That's amazing. Can't believe it.
So I came back to Australia and I was like, fuck yeah. International professional wrestler.
Yeah, awesome, man. That was a great story.
Thank you.
Okay, so from there, your big return is building up and building up and building up. We're doing this "Where'd you go?" little promo thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because taunting Ryan Tate. No one knows who it is.
Because I found a mashup online of my entrance music. Sorry, what's it called? Hear Me Now by Hollywood Undead. Mashed up with a song called Where'd You Go by like Linkin Park or something. Fort Minor, that's who. And so I was like, cool, I'll use this mashup on the entrance and we'll use the sound bit from the start as like a little warning thing.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to air 3 times before I returned, like during Ryan Tate matches.
Yeah.
I believe it happened once. The other time the sound bit didn't work, and no one filmed the one that actually happened on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, you know what, fuck it, screw it. And this time, I'm just like, okay, I'm ready for this match, I'm ready. I don't get to see Ryan before the actual match, so we're just planning it online. I'm thinking, shit, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what if, we can't physically do what we said we would?
Yeah. So before you're entering, where are you? What's happening?
I am sitting in my parked car up the road from Jack's, just a few side streets up, hoping no one will see me. I'm in my gear, I'm ready.
I'm waiting for Justin to give you
I'm waiting for Justin to give me a text to tell me that the music's about to start for the little segment they're doing, because then I'll come backstage and be ready for that. And Jack knows to play the music at the time when he's been told. Doesn't know what the music is, blah, blah, blah. So I get the text from Justin, I'm waiting outside the front of the Wallace house. I walk backstage, Jack catches a glimpse of me, his face just drops. He's like, what? I was like, just play along. My music hits, I'm just like, cool. Then the Hear Me Now start, the Hear Me Now part of the song starts. I'm like, and the crowd starts, realizing who it is. I'm just like, okay, this is awesome. Yes, I'm so excited. Yeah. I always do a little twirl when I come out. That's always what I do. And I'm gonna blame you, Tim. You tied the curtains at the bottom, which made them they were very restricting. Come out, I do a little twist. I've lost 20 kilos, and so I'm barely recognizable. I come out, I do a twist, my left foot catches the curtain.
Fucking hell.
And I fall over.
The year-long anticipation in you going over this thought, this what's going to happen over and over again, and then you do it. It's a huge moment, and you fucking fall over, and everyone's roaring with laughter, and you just sit down cross-legged. Trying to figure out how to save your face.
I sat down cross-legged, I spun around, and I faced the entrance, the crowd, and I was just like, fuck it, just come on, give me the abuse. I knew, at that point, I was past the point of return.
It didn't matter, though.
Because I was planning on being very serious. I was wearing this army gear, I was going to be very serious, I was going to get in the ring, be very serious. And I was just like, screw it, that's not going to happen. I fucked up. Sorry.
But after that, it didn't matter, because you got in the ring, and you posed on the ropes, and everyone was like, fuck yes, he's back. I can't fucking believe it. They're still laughing a little bit about the whole thing.
I'm getting YMCA chants because I'm wearing a white singlet with army pants.
Only in wrestling can people make that connection.
I got some gain some weight chants. Take off your shirt. Yeah, and then I wrestled a great match against Ryan.
That was such a good match.
I loved it,
One time
man.
you wrestled Ryan in a singles match, fucking awesome match. You
I
go
loved
over,
it.
you win the Backyard Championship. How does this feel?
This was pretty cool, just on my merits from over a year ago, thinking that I'm going to be booked to win a belt off that.
Yeah.
I was a bit scared of backlash from people. I was scared that there was going to be like, why'd he win the belt? He hasn't been here. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't get any of that. I don't know if you did as booker.
No one said anything about it.
I didn't get anything. Then there was a little run-in with Rusty at the end, which was basically Carl and I were talking, and he mentioned how Rusty was going to be in the Australian Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame, and he was going to be at the show. So I'm like, cool, I used to watch Rusty. All their names are interchangeable to me. All these old IWH guys, they were all interchangeable to me. And so from that, Carl deduced that he was my lifelong childhood idol, and that he should do a run-in so I have a great moment with my idol.
But it ended up, it was Chris
It was
Cryptic.
a cool...
Wasn't it Chris
Yeah,
Cryptic?
Cryptic I was obsessed with. I love Chris
you loved
Cryptic.
him, but for some reason I thought it was Rusty.
No, I said, because you
So I
mentioned
thought-
Rusty, so I was like, yeah, cool, he was
We'll have
awesome.
a little moment where he comes out and makes a save for you.
To which the crowd chanted, why? Because it was just why would Rusty save me?
Because he's having a match with me later, so he was making his point on the show, and I thought it'd be nice for you two to stand next to each other.
I love Russ. It was great to meet you, man. You were just a ridiculous wrestler, but yeah, that moment was just it was just a weird moment.
Yeah.
And then, there's a great shot of Rusty holding my hand in the entranceway. The skinniest I've ever been. I weighed 72 kilos on that day. Right now I'm at about 80, which is pretty shit, because I've had
That's alright, I'm at 94.
Yeah, but
I've never been that heavy.
You're old. Anyway. You're allowed to be. Yeah, so that was my return match, and it was great. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah. And I couldn't think of a better way to be reintroduced to the roster than straight up first match, Backyard Champion.
Man, if I went over Dark Ice, that would have been pretty cool.
Okay, so after that, you're the Backyard Champion. You defend the title on Backyard TV quite often.
Yes, I wanted to introduce a thing where the Backyard Champion was the champion of Backyard TV as well.
Yeah.
And so that every time I was on Backyard TV, defend the belt, make it a legitimate thing. I love that.
For those out there who don't really know what Backyard TV is, it's the pre-show basically to our big show, where we have 3 matches, a couple of squash matches, so people can get a win if they haven't had one in a while. Also for maybe a new guy to come along and have a bit of a tryout match, like Brandon Cage when he wrestled you.
His debut match against me, that's right.
And also maybe just a little bit to further some storylines, but for the most part, it's just a enhancement talent, I guess you could say. El Papacito putting over someone, then Scream loses to Acid, and then, the main event will be a little competitive match like a Kai Fusion versus a Jack Wallace. Even though they're not feuding or anything, it's just a match in the name of competition, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, but Mike Delcanho, You definitely put Backyard TV on the map as far as I'm concerned, because some of those matches were absolutely incredible. First one I'm going to mention is Dark Ice.
Of course.
Heavyweight Championship.
I was hoping that'd be the first one you mentioned.
That was the biggest match in Backyard TV history up to that point. Because it was a heavyweight championship
Up
match.
to that point, has there anything overtaken it?
Oh, well, no, at that point, just I'm saying that. I don't think
Also
there
at this
has been-
point.
I don't. Yeah, also at this point. I don't think there has been anything more epic than that one, but...
No, first of all, it was a chance to have Dark Ice win over me. Because I'd gone over him twice in IWS, and I felt really bad, because, God, it made no sense I should be able to beat him. Like, just logically.
Yeah.
Like, that just shouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so it was great to actually finally have him beat me. Look monstrous doing so. Do a big choke slam. I love taking his choke slams. Well, I don't love him. I love the height. I don't like the bump. And, no, that was great. And I also had some other matches, Backyard TV.
Yeah, Brandon Cage, his first ever proper backyard wrestling match. What did you think of that one?
I was very happy that he said okay when I asked it to be against me. He did well. We booked, I played the veteran a bit in the match. Like, the opening spot was him just petering to the outside. I went for a slingshot dive. He flinched. I landed on my feet. He turned around. I just socked him in the face.
Yeah.
Like, I played veteran which is something I'd never done, really. I never actually... except against Tim Justice. But I always tried to make the matches, way more equal.
Yeah.
But I realised then that wouldn't make sense in that context. And so, he still got his spots in. He got some great shit in. And he gained a presence. But I knew that we couldn't work the same match I'd always been working.
Did you ever, when you were having these backyard TV matches, were you ever worried about being at your best for later in the show when you would have your proper match on the show?
No, because I always made sure that I'd planned the match of the show well enough that I knew that I'd be fine. And when it comes to wrestling, I have never ever felt dead after a match. Because, I don't know, wrestling just... regular cardio will kill me.
Yeah.
Wrestling, I could go for hours. I just don't... I never get tired when I'm wrestling.
Okay.
Because I've got adrenaline flowing, I love it.
Yeah.
So I knew that if there was another chance to wrestle, I would take it. Only exception that I've been able to have to stop a match was my last backyard wrestling match. But we'll get to that later.
Okay, so after this, well, I mean, not after this, but during this era, you're feuding with the Elite Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
So you're having matches with Acid. There's the War Games match. There was a four-way with JD Flame, Dan Zeppelin, Ryan Tate, and yourself.
Was supposed to be Ryan Tate, ended up being Acid because Ryan Tate separated his
Oh, that's
his
right.
shoulder.
He was injured because Rusty.
Because Rusty did the dive onto him and broke his shoulder.
Yeah, that's right. So okay, your memories of those matches, what you liked, what you didn't like.
I don't know, I felt like the four-way, it just felt like that was the match after I won the belt. I felt like that felt a bit off. Like, there were some great moments in there. Probably my favourite spot in that match, which I just think it looked brutal, was I hit a rope-assisted neck breaker on Dan Zeppelin. And he just sold it like an absolute death of death.
Yeah.
Like, he has
a death of death.
He has he has the ability to land squarely on his neck and not die, and it's incredible. And so I remember every time I watched it, I literally just watched for that one spot. Because, the only other things I remember doing, I did a standing moonsault to Acid where that made no noise, and it scares me every time I hear it. I just do the flip and land on him, and there's no bump sound. I'm just like, how did I do that? That was enjoyable.
And what about your tables match with Acid?
We cut it a bit short because he was very, very tired. I enjoyed working with Acid.
Very, very tired also means very, very stoned.
He was also very stoned. Yes, that also was a thing. I enjoyed working with him. He improved just within the space of a few events. He just improved tenfold.
He went from awkward Acid who you could get a good match out of him if you really worked hard, joins the Elite Alliance, turns heel, everything changes. He's having awesome matches every show and just climbing the ladder so high, so quickly.
Yeah. The tables match, we had a few spots in there that were nice and decent. There was went for the Gourd Buster on the table. I landed on feet on the table, hit a Tornado DDT off it. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
The finish was very anticlimactic. I don't remember what we were supposed to do. I feel like he was supposed to try superplex me or something, or I was supposed to suplex him or something. And then he got tired and stoned, and so I just roundhouse kicked him off the second rope, and he bumped through the table.
Okay. So from there we go to War Games. I'm very disappointed in War Games.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one we did was really good. There's the Rebellion against the Elite Alliance, where Ryan Tate turned heel on the Rebellion and joined the Elite Alliance. I thought that was a really good War Games, but this one just didn't
click.
Didn't click. I feel like it just was all this build with your feud with us, Alex's feud with us, Mitch's feud with us, Justin's feud with us. It just didn't.
I think because it was unequal the entire time, that made it. Because Justin unfortunately got injured.
Yeah.
He injured his back, and so that really sucks, and that really did suck at the time, which meant that he started off the match being beaten up and handcuffed to the side.
Yeah.
And so it started off straight up. As soon as Alex entered, it was 2-on-1 already. And then Dan entered, so it became 3-on-1.
Yeah, it was just... Fuck, we should have sat there and really thought about it a little bit more and planned it out a bit better.
Yeah, just change the order, or change the match, or just something.
Something should have changed.
Because when it was literally Alex versus 3 people, it was like, come on.
It's just boring. Like, what's going to...
This is shit. This is just beating him up, waiting for my
Delcanho
music.
comes out, and then he gets beaten down because it's then 3-on-2, and then wasn't it like 4-on-2?
It ends up being 4-on-2.
And then Mykonos came out for 4-on-3.
Yeah. Basically, because Mykonos, as the last person, was supposed to be the return of the radical movement.
Yes.
But Justin wasn't wrestling, so that was just like, okay.
And I'd planned for months that Chris Zeppelin was going to come out
that's right.
and say, the only way to beat an Elite Alliance is with a radical movement. And
Cue
then
Mitch.
Mykonos' theme hits. Boom, he comes out. It's going to be this big... reunion, you guys all of a sudden, boom, 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 the eradication, 1, 2, 3, or something like that, and the Radical Army, as it was known at the time, would get the big win. But yeah, I like the finish of the match. There was all different finishes going left, right, and centre. Mykonos hits 3 super kicks anymore, and
that's right.
He counts them, 1, 2, 3. There's another one, turns around, it's me. I super kick him. Then I don't know what happened with me and Alex, but he ended up getting me into the Lion Tamer and I tapped out.
Yeah.
And then from there, I want to touch on your final match you ever had with JD Flame, which was an I Quit match. And I want you to go in detail about the planning of that match, because, I've rewatched it a few months ago and I was like, that was a fucking good match.
Easily my favourite match with Justin. Like, not even any remote competition from any other match.
Were you happy to get that last match with him, knowing that this would be your last year in Backyard Wrestling?
Fun fact, I actually wanted to drop the Backyard title to him then, but I was told that wasn't the time.
I couldn't do it at the time, but I wanted him to be the Backyard champion after after a heel had taken it off you. I wanted JD Flame to take it off him.
Yeah, I tried to get Justin to beat me in that match, but it didn't work out. Yeah, the planning, I went over to Justin's house, we went through it meticulously. Absolutely meticulously. Went through all the spots and all the counters and all that, because I love counter wrestling.
Yeah.
Counter wrestling is what makes wrestling,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can't have a good match without good most good matches have good counters. And so we went over to his house, and, we planned it, we did well. This is going to be the finish, cool, we'll do interference here, blah, 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 you'll do your spot, blah, 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 blah. And just doing that match showed me how much Justin had evolved as a wrestler.
He just got so fucking good.
He really did.
Every match was always a good match.
Yeah.
And it was a shame with the back issues.
I still think he is the most underrated wrestler in the history of WA Backyard
And I hate
Wrestling.
the fact that he never got to win a championship in WZWA.
Yeah.
I feel like he really
deserved one, 100%.
But he got the commissionership.
He got the commissionership.
But
He was the first ever IWS tag title holder, so that's alright.
But he really deserved that confirmation of
He deserved a single champion.
Wrestler, yeah.
I think like the Aussie Championship or something.
Yeah, he deserved a higher up kind of belt.
Yeah, he's something. Just something, man, because he's... You know what? Often, he now watches a lot. He watches Japanese wrestling and indie wrestling, but before he didn't really, and so you had to tell him moves.
Yeah.
But if you told him something, he would know how to do it. And if you told him how to do it, he would get it. And so, no, I'm very, very glad we got to have that match. Just the two of us, one-on-one, I Quit match.
And I will link this on the
The good thing about it is that we work the I Quit match more of a submission match with weapons.
Yeah.
Rather than, let's hit each other with kendo
Do
sticks over and
something
over.
fucking different for once.
Yeah, let's hit each other with kendo sticks over and over and over again until one of us says I quit.
And until it means nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Which it does.
And again, that was a match that had no crowd reaction. Which,
frustrating because when you watch it back, it's just such a journey that you
like
two go on.
I think it's.
You told a good story, that's for sure.
I think it would overtake my match with Ryan in the top 25 matches in WZWA history. I personally think it was better than the match with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal opinion. But no.
Well, now that list that I made needs to be changed.
Definitely needs to be updated.
So much. Oh,
definitely should be updated.
I haven't even thought about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah, there's a playlist on the YouTube for the WZWA. Wow, I said that really weirdly. WZWA that has Carl's picks for the top 25 matches in history, and this was made just after Resolution 2. And so it's just weird looking back there and seeing the
now it
matches.
needs to be updated so much because there's been so many other great matches since then. But
So yeah, match with Justin was great, in summary.
Excellent. Okay. From there, we have our proper match.
About
finally.
time. After
the third
time we ever wrestled.
The third attempt. Okay, the first one was good. Wasn't long enough. Wasn't the ultimate match that it should have been. Second match, dreadful. You were rather overweight. I was drunk. I was.
Fuck off! Were you drunk?
I was definitely drunk.
You were drunk?
I was either drunk or I'd smoked way too many cigarettes that day because I just could not.
Your head was just spinning.
I just couldn't.
I've only been inebriated once during a match.
I'm pretty sure I was drunk.
I was a little bit stoned during a match with El Papacito on Backyard TV. That was about it.
Yeah, I was definitely drunk. So that probably led to why I was so sluggish throughout the fucking match.
We both were, man.
But I was blown immediately. Like, the lockup, I was like, oh, I need to put him in a rest hold.
Of a lockup, side headlock facing the camera for like 3 minutes.
So we finally have this last man standing match to end this feud between you and the Elite Alliance, once and for all.
Yeah. Can I intercede? Because with context, the entire time I'd been in WZWA up until that point I was trying to get a match with Carl in storyline.
You were trying to get through each...
I was trying to get through each member of the Elite Alliance to get up to Carl, and Carl kept dodging the match. He put me in the match with Justin to distract from him.
Yeah.
And so eventually I finally got this match with him,
yeah.
which was, the blow-off of a 6-month feud, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To actually have a real 6-month feud, that the clear opponent and the clear opponents were set, and you just need to build up to that match. I thought that was really cool.
And I kind of, looking back, I kind of have some regrets over this Elite Alliance thing, because I had 4 feuds going at the same fucking time. I had this thing with Alex Stone from December the previous year still going. I had this thing with JD Flame that started to heat up a little bit. I had this thing with Mykonos going on.
Franchise.
And then I had the thing with the franchise just after I was done with Alex and all that. But I also had you at the same time, and I wish I could have really focused on that feud and sunk my teeth into it a little bit.
That's the thing,
better.
you were coming out for like 4 seconds of the show to kind of promo on each different enemy.
Oh man, I was just I don't know what I was trying to do, but having a roster of 27, 28 people was starting to get to me, which is why it led to the whole booking committee thing beginning, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Will we?
But the match with me, your thoughts?
I fucking loved it. I loved it. It was physical. It was brutal. That was the fattest I'd ever been since returning. I was 85 kilos at that point, and you can see it when I walk out. I got a little muffin top underneath my little wife beater there.
Yep.
But fuck, like that was just such a great match.
I was really proud that we finally had that ultimate match.
Yeah.
And looking back, I know if there were a couple of rematches,
we'd blitz it.
Definitely. I think we were finally in the right mindset at the time. It's a shame that we can't go back and I think I wanted to do a rematch on Backyard TV so you could go over on me. I definitely had that in the
TV,
plans.
really?
Yeah.
Oh. Think about that match. That was the first match after I started EPW training, and so I'd really, in those 3 weeks or whatever, I'd really hammered back the basics. And so that really did help.
And I really appreciated the way that you put me over, because I had lost a lot of matches.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to go over.
I think I'd only won one match against Deacon or something like that on Backyard TV, so I hadn't won many matches that year. And you insisted that I go over to keep me strong in the position that I was in. Yeah. So I really appreciate
Little did I know I wouldn't win a match after that.
No. Unfortunately, that was
I did
the
not
case.
win a single match after that point.
So after that, we have a non-title match between you and Blade Shaw. I want just to know your thoughts on your match with Blade.
No. Before then was the match with Nick.
Did you lose the
I
title?
lost title because remember Nick.
Because I thought it was a non-title match.
Because Nick interfered in the match with. Maybe it was a non-title match.
I'm pretty sure it was a non-title match because he was beating Mykonos. Nick Ariel was beating Mykonos that show to become a contender for the backyard.
That's right. You're right.
Show.
You are right. I'm sorry. That was
So-
Rampage. Of course, I should have known that. Of course, because yes. Okay, sorry.
That's
That
okay.
after that show with Blade was the first time I ever did the shooting star press,
Yeah,
and I went for that in my match with Nick, so I should have known.
yeah. So
Wait.
no, you went for the shooting star against me.
Yeah,
and
so
you
the
missed it.
Blade match was before my match with you.
Was it?
It must have been.
Must have been. But anyway, I just want to know your thoughts
Oh,
on wrestling
okay.
Blade. He'd been out of the game for 5 years. He's a big dude. How are you going about planning this match with him? From all accounts from him, you were a delight to deal with as far as planning the match. He was really happy with it.
I don't think he was used to someone like me who really, really preempts my matches. Because I, pretty much the day after I found out who I was wrestling, I sent him a message saying, hey, cool, we're wrestling. This is the finish I want. And he's like, holy shit, like I haven't even remotely thought of this match yet. Cool. And then, we go through the match, we plan it, we go through it, I try to make him look as strong as I can.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell that's what you were trying to get across.
Yeah. He didn't bump for most of the match. I kept him on his feet just to make it so. Also, for the payoff for when I finally got him off his feet, it would work.
Yeah, it would make sense.
It'll make. However, he accidentally bumped a. This looked really awkward because the spot was supposed to be I was supposed to hangman him on the top rope and then hit a missile dropkick and he wouldn't bump either. But then he bumped the hangman.
That's something I kind of tell him off for. Don't bump so much.
And he didn't bump the missile dropkick because he remembered not to bump then. So he bumped the first one and then didn't bump it. So just like stupid,
Yeah.
walking back from this missile dropkick after he bumped off a hangman.
Did you like wrestling him?
I loved it. I love being thrown around. Like I love feeling weightless.
Does that count? Is that the same in the bedroom as well?
If I knew, that was a joke. No, I do not in the bedroom.
Okay.
That no.
That's okay. It was just a shit joke. But,
Yes, it was very terrible.
So you enjoyed the match with him.
I loved it. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so I know at this stage it might be irking you a little bit that you're dropping the belt to Nick Ariel.
The reason why is because it seemed like this. I feel like this shouldn't be a podcast thing. This should be just a you and me talking thing. But you know what? Screw it. Camera's here. The microphone. You were just very insistent on Nick winning the belt for a long time, regardless of his commitment to yarding or whatever. Like, you originally wanted him to win the belt off me the event after I won it.
Yeah.
And to me, it just seemed like you wanted your mates to win belts. Which is what the Elite Alliance turned out being.
I wanted Nick Ariel to be in the title history. He hadn't won a title since 2004 or 2005. He hadn't won a title for fucking years. So I thought it'd be nice to get him in the title history. I don't know why that means so much to me, but I just really wanted it to happen. And I thought it might perk his interest, and it ended up doing so. But did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed the match, definitely. It wasn't as silly as the matches he usually has, and it wasn't as
That's what I wanted. I kept saying to him, stop being...
and it wasn't as technical as the match I usually have.
Stop having a comedy match and have a fucking good wrestling match with someone. That's all I wanted from him.
Yeah. No, like, I enjoyed it. We worked quite well together.
And unfortunately, this was a question he asked on the Q&A section, was what was it like working with Nick Ariel, so... Yeah, unfortunately that won't be part of the Q&A, Nick, because we had to cover it here. But,
Fuck you, Nick.
you enjoyed it.
Yeah, oh no, definitely. Like,
You're wrestling too. You're wrestling some XCW guys who've been out of the game for a
that
while.
was really weird, wrestling like 3 XW guys in a row.
Yeah.
Like, that it felt weird, like feeling like I was on that level where, you guys trusted me with your little 23 and over club that you guys had.
Yeah. Okay, so from there, you've lost the backyard title, but I wanted to immediately move you onto something else. So we started up the feud with Clint Marshall to lead towards your final match at Resolution 3.
Yes, because at this point I'd started pro training and I knew that hopefully I'd be debuting around the January time, so I was like, I need to stop backyard wrestling.
What made you make that decision? Okay, the backyard thing's going to have to end now. I'm not going to wait another year. Why then?
I can't remember what the catalyst was. But what was the start of that? I was just like examining my life and thinking, if I want to, when I graduate university, go travel the world wrestling, I need to get the experience now.
That's right. You said to me specifically that you were going to give yourself 1 year to do something with wrestling after you finished your studies.
At least.
And if it wasn't working out whatsoever, then you would probably go back to what you were doing.
Still sounds very much like what my idea of wrestling was then. Is quite different. Like, my current plan is to actually go to Japan, like teach English to school children there, and then just train the dojo there.
Yeah,
that's my current plan. Because that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Or go to America, or go to Mexico, or I don't even know. But I definitely want to travel.
I think you'd do well in Japan for sure.
Yeah. I need to bulk up though and improve strikes. Actually, my forearm's good. Anyway.
Yes. Anyway, okay, so we've started off this feud with Clint Marshall after he attacks JD Flame, your friend, who's the new co-commissioner at the time, trying to get you away from the Elite Alliance stuff.
Yeah.
Now, you've told me Resolution's going to be your last show. Now I'm in panic mode. Now I need to fucking get you to wrestle as many people as you've ever wrestled before. So there's people you still didn't get the chance to wrestle properly, like Antilochus. You didn't get to have a proper match with him, one-on-one. I wanted you to wrestle Alex Stone again because that first match never got filmed. I wanted you to wrestle Luke Manette, which we did on Backyard TV.
Thank God.
So your thoughts on that match with Monet?
Oh, man, I was so happy wrestling Monet. I was just like... I have a very weird relationship with Monet. I hate him so much, but, I love him.
Equally.
Yeah, and God, I hate him, but fuck, I love him.
I hate him too, and I love him as well.
Yeah, he's a very lovable, hateable person.
Yeah.
And
this was a bit before you were still Backyard Champion.
Yes, I was still Backyard. Yeah. This was actually the event I dropped at Snick. This was the Backyard TV, event. So, you know what, I knew that Luke Monet, I keep calling him Monet, Luke Monet has something that you can't learn. He just has natural movement. He gets movement. He understands how your body's supposed to move as a wrestler, how you're supposed to conduct yourself. And that's something you can't learn. That's something, well, you can, it just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And he gets it. So I was very excited to wrestle him, he was very excited to wrestle me. And I was like, you know what, while I'm still Backyard Champion, I'll pull a Tim Justice swerve. And have Monet pin me.
Fucking worked again.
No, it didn't, because people forgot it was a Backyard title match.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
So he reverses the over easy into a small package, pins me, and the crowd's like, "Cool, good match, applause." And then someone's like, then they give him the belt, and everyone's like, wait, what?
The new Backyard Champion.
Yeah, and they're just like, and everyone's like, wait, that was a title match?
And then I come out and I'm like, whoa, that wasn't a title match.
Nick Ariel's the number one contender. Yeah. He's due to face Mike Delcanho later today.
Maybe that's why it happened that way, because that's what we were trying to get across. Because I can't remember. Maybe we were trying to, make it so suddenly he's the Backyard Champion. No one realizes it's a title match.
No, because I remember we did a promo before the match, and I stressed how it was a Backyard title match because I wanted people to know it was a Backyard title. So, just to confirm, this match now, Mike Delcanho versus Dynamo for the Backyard title. I was looking like William Shatner. It was weird.
It was a good swerve, and you got to wrestle him. From there, unfortunately, Backyard TV was getting difficult to get organised earlier in the day before the big show started because, as I said, the roster now is 27 strong, 28 people at times. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to see those matches with Antilochus or those matches with Brian Lowe or Rex Regum or etc. But during this time, we do the Clash of the Triads.
Oh, sick event.
Yes, that's one of my favourite events we ever had. I would say, without a doubt, and if any pros listening to this, I would say it's on par as being as good as a pro show, because every match was so fucking good. I reckon every match was fucking awesome on that show.
I wouldn't go that far.
You wouldn't say it was on the same level as an AAW show?
Actually, potentially, yeah. I mean,
I'd say it was better.
I would need to rewatch it, but no, there was still a lot of yarding tendencies, shit strikes and shit, blah blah blah. But that's things that you see in the pros.
But you see them too in the pros, and I think it's better. It was better than AEW. It was better than some of the other shit that you
Hey,
see.
mate,
here
I
and
wrestle for AW. Can you stop? Can you stop
I'm just
ripping
saying.
into
I'm
them?
just saying it was better than the because I was in AEW at the time and it was better than their shows.
Yeah. No, that was absolutely, and it was just a chance for me to just be silly for a bit. Like while still
It was
wrestling,
a relaxed show.
it was an IWS show in a WZWA ring, in my opinion, and it was completely out of characters, and everyone was just wrestling.
Yeah,
and it was I loved it.
we just got back to the basics of the fact that it was back to just wrestling.
So like
and you guys got to win the tournament.
that was cool.
You, Alex Stone.
That is the sole sporting trophy I have on my little bedside thing.
Yep.
The sole sporting trophy is a wrestling 6-man tag championship thing. That's it. That's all I got.
So were you happy to be crowned the
Definitely felt cool.
to
Definitely.
have the Radical Army or whatever? What was it called?
The Radical Army.
The Radical Army.
Originally, it was going to be called. You were
it
going to
was
call.
the Stone
You were going to
Army.
call it the Stone
The
Army,
Stone
and I was just like, "Fuck off."
The Stone Army was what we called it for the War Games because we couldn't say Radical Army because we didn't want to give away the fact that Mykonos was.
And then you still want to call it the Stone Army for the triads, and I was
Yeah.
just like, "Fuck off!"
Like, yeah, Radical Army.
This isn't Alex Stone and friends. Like, sorry, like
Yeah.
me and Mitch are a little bit formidable.
Well, initially it was going to be the Radical movement.
Yeah, I know.
But JD Flame couldn't wrestle on the
Which
show.
is a shame, because, But, you know what, in the opening match, which was the match versus the IWS team, we finished it off with the Eradication with Alex Stone doing the game over in place of the cutter, and that felt cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And, that was the start of teasing myself versus Clint Marshall,
Yeah.
which was also fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was great.
Cool. Well, we'll get to Clint Marshall feud now. How many matches did you have during this feud before we got to that? Because I know there was the match with DJ, but I can't remember. And there was the match with Phaser. But was there one before that at all?
Yes, there was the tag team tables match. Myself and Clint versus
you were forced
DJ
to tag team together.
versus Chris and Chaos.
Okay, so you did get to wrestle Chris a little bit.
Yeah, I also got to wrestle on the triads and the infamous Michinoku
Yes,
driver.
we'll get to that later. Okay, so you're not happy about losing to Daniel Johnston. We went through this last weekend.
Yes, it was tough at the time because I was just like, I haven't won a match in literally 5 months, including Backyard TV.
Yeah.
And I thought with my establishment level, it just and DJ obviously is extremely established as well. But I just thought I just thought I should have gone over in the build-up to a match with Clint.
Yeah. I think at the time I was concerned with DJ's win-loss record. Actually, whoa, I've just fucking discovered something. I'm so sorry. I just have fucking memories just come up. DJ asked to win.
Ha!
DJ was like, I have to win this match, please. I gotta go over. I need to be kept strong. I've been losing too many matches lately. Usually DJ doesn't care about wins or losses, but he specifically said to me.
See, no one told me. That's the thing, and I went into the event, and
He said, please let me go over.
Neither of us knew who was winning, and so we just went up to you, and you're like, "Oh, DJ," because apparently he must have talked to you beforehand.
Yeah, no, okay. Now I can't believe it. We had the podcast with DJ before, and we didn't mention anything about that. But we mentioned how good of a match it was. But yeah, he definitely asked to win, so that's why it happened.
Dick.
I was thinking this whole time. I was concerned about his win-loss record. No, I wasn't. I actually think I was going to have you go over, but then he changed my mind.
Because I want to go over the shooting star press.
Politics, mate. Politics.
I want to go over the shooting star press to establish the shooting star press more, because I'd literally hit it once at that point, and then I'd been too injured to take the pin.
Yeah.
And so I really want to establish it as a finisher, hit the shooting star press on DJ, pin him.
Yeah.
But the gods of politicking decided that wasn't.
But you weren't happy with the match. I thought it was an amazing match.
After the match, I thought I'd hit nothing. I thought I'd done nothing to establish myself. I thought it was too slow. I thought it was given DJ's physical limitations. That's obviously, that's obviously it.
It was really good, man. It was
no. Rewatching it was great. It was simple. It was technical. It was brutal. There were still some aspects I wish I could have changed. But overall, definitely a great match. Definitely. Okay. Not my favourite in WZWA, but yeah, I mean, Jesus. Hard hitting.
So around this time, you and I hung out for the first time since we'd ever known each other. You came over and hung out at my this house I was house sitting.
Oh God, I did.
And we were just talking about, you know, because I'd never hung out with you one-on-one before, so it was really awesome just to spend time and get to know you.
Yeah.
And we were talking about what was going on with your thing with Zibby, and I said I had an idea of bringing Phaser in to be someone for you to get a win over to build towards your thing with Clint Marshall, and it'll make sense because he's part of the Revolutionaries. And then we did the whole thing where Zibby was like, you know, you're not wrestling me tonight, but you're still going to wrestle the Revolutionary. And out came Phaser for his big return. Your thoughts on the match, thoughts on the build-up, the pop he got.
So, Zib and I were just like, okay, how do we build up to this match with Phaser? And so I came up with this ridiculous idea to book this match at that show between me and Zib, a 5-minute showcase where, a slam would count for 2 points, a strike would count for 1 point, a submission would count for 10 points.
And to make everyone believe, they're doing this.
Yep. Because, you know what, the honest goal of it was to make people hate the idea of this match, and so when it was Phaser, it was a welcome relief.
Yeah.
And
once
you
again,
fuckers liked the idea of this shitty match.
Did they?
They fucking loved it, like, oh man, we're so pumped. And so I messaged Zib saying, shit, they really like the match. What do we do?
Fuck, I can't even remember.
And so we built it up instead as a 15-minute Iron Man match to determine the stipulation for resolution. So everyone was fucking in love with this match now. And then Zib cut them off. So we ended up doing the exact opposite. We ended up building up a great match and cutting it off, rather than building up a shit match and cutting it off.
Yeah. But, once again, you're utilising something that you've learned of swerving them.
Yeah, which I enjoyed
And
doing.
you did it again. Yeah. And then out came Phaser, and remember, I was sitting backstage doing the music, he was standing right next to me. My heart was pounding with excitement to see him come out, that fucking theme song of his. And out he comes, and everyone's like, oh, fuck yeah. Fucking awesome moment. And this is, at this time, your second last backyard wrestling match. So what were your thoughts on the match you got to have with him?
Oh, man, that was a great match. I loved it, because we really stuck to the basic match formula. And, you know what? You say you find it boring, but we stuck to it, and it got the crowd involved. Say what you want, it's boring, but it's perfect.
No, in certain situations it's good. If it's done correctly, it's awesome. But
so it was a great. He looks. We didn't get to I saw him before. I didn't get to actually go through the match with him, so I was a bit scared that it might be a bit too complicated. He worked through it fine as anything. Went great. Shooting star press for the finish. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and I find it kind of interesting to think back. You were making your return against Ryan Tate, hadn't seen him in person. He's making his return against you, and you haven't seen him, before the match anyway.
Which is very difficult, but we did it.
But twice now, you've done it, and you pulled it off.
Maybe I should just never meet anyone before I wrestle them, ever.
Yeah.
That's the only logical solution.
So, we're building up to Resolution now. This is going to be your final match. You versus Clint Marshall. Match without honour, I think.
Fight without honour.
Fight without honour.
Mm-hmm.
So, just go through your mindset before the show, how you're feeling about this being your last match, and then obviously the ensuing match and what happened.
So before the show, about 6 months before this, which when I decided I was going to go pro, I was like, my last match is going to be against Clint Marshall. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. Mm-hmm. That had to be the case. And even when I posted the thing on our little page saying, listen guys, Resolution 3 is going to be my last match, Zibby's first comment was, you're facing me, right? Like, you have to. Like, there was no doubt in anyone's mind. It was going to be
straight away when I knew, I was like, well, it's going to have to be Clint Marshall.
It's going to be me versus Clint Marshall. Because, we've had those matches, we had the great matches. And at this point, I was a lot skinnier than I was in IWS. Zibby bulked up, just instantaneously. I don't know what the hell. He came back from Israel slightly chubby. And then I came back to Australia and he was just ripped. He's huge.
Yeah.
And so, okay, now I've had 6 months of EPW and Schwa training at this point. You're huge. I'm light. We are going to have a ridiculous match.
Yeah.
So I started planning this match. I planned 3 heat sections for Zib with 2 little shines for myself. It was going to be massive. There were going to be finished kickouts. There were going to be, it was all very building up.
It could have been the best match.
It wasn't an ICWS style spot fest. It was a match that started off small, built until we're kicking out of finishes. Then we get backstage. I'm ready. I'm getting a little bit emotional because I'm like, okay, this is my last ever backyard wrestling match. This last time I'll ever be the Mike Delcanho character. This last time I'll ever use these finishes and wear this gear and blah blah. Walk out. I specifically walk out, so there is no chance of me falling over. That is why I walk out in the entrance.
Shit.
I walk out, then do my little spin once I'm in safe little distance. Do the match. It's going great. I get
It was going so good, man.
I get a "this is training" chant, which is probably my favourite chant, because we're doing this great little universal spot that involves a back roll into a wheelbarrow headlock
that was
takeover.
So good, man.
Like, it's just like
you
all
kept
this
going back to that headlock.
all
takeover.
this little exactly, like, kept on building. The whole shine was built off on me keeping on getting him in a side headlock.
Yeah, so good. Just making that one move so important.
Yeah. Then we go to the outside. I go for a moonsault to the outside. Catches me, power slam into the apron. The crowd thinks I'm dead. I think a few people think I broke my back. I'm completely fine. Working, and then we get back in, and he starts working the ribs. Because the finish of the match that we decided was he's going to work the ribs the entire time. I'm going to eventually build up, hit the shooting star press, be completely fucked from my ribs. Like, sell. I finally go for the pin, he kicks out. I go to pick him up. He attacks the ribs again. Hits me with his 3 finishes in succession, which is the bicycle kick, scissor kick, and then the supernova. I kick out of that. Then he picks me up, I slap him, tell him to do something different for once, and then he hits me with the sit-out supernova driver, which is the first time he would ever do that. So we get to the first hit, and he's supposed to hit me with a running dominator into the corner, which will set me up on the top rope, and then he'll go for a superplex, and we'll go from there. Running dominator... Runs, hit the corner perfectly, and then I just hear this crack. Because my shin has gone flying down and hit the top buckle.
And everyone went, oh.
Everyone like,
and I was
oh.
like, no, I think it was his boot that hit the top of the ring post.
And I just fall off the top rope, and I'm lying there. And the referee is Monet, I believe?
Someone. I think so.
I think it's Monet or Justin or something. It's Monet, sorry. And he's just like, "Are you okay?" I'm just like, I'm not okay. I can't put any weight. Like, Zib just like taunts for a bit and walks around, checks I'm okay. Taunts. I get up and I just say to Zibby, original finish. Because I couldn't continue. And so I slap him in the face, he hits me with the supernova driver. And that was that.
Fuck. It's just such a shame, man, because...
Which I want them to now call the Del Killer or something like that. Which would be sick. Del Killer.
And it's such a shame.
Yeah.
It could have been the greatest match in WZWA history, possibly WA yarding history.
I think it was very much on track.
Yeah, it was on its way, and seeing where you were at on the spot list afterward broke my heart.
We were about 1/8 of the way down the page,
yeah.
And that was 15 minutes in, I think.
Fuck, such a shame. And afterward, how are you feeling? Are you feeling?
I was just absolutely devastated. I was lying on the couch upstairs, and I was just completely devastated.
I mean, I was just running through my head, is there any way I can convince him to do one more and we'll try and redo that match? But wasn't to be.
Wasn't going to happen. You fuckers took the group photo without me, because I was
really?
Lying on the couch in pain.
Oh, that's so
while
mean.
Zibby and Justin were helping me. So you guys took a group photo while that was happening.
Oh, okay, that's sad.
So yeah,
Sorry.
if you look at that famous photo with NC Viper, I'm not in it.
Yeah.
Neither is Zibby or Justin. Yeah, so that match, it was supposed to be my crowning achievement in backyard wrestling, and wasn't meant to be.
So there's no chance you're going to come back for one more?
Not at this point, no.
No.
That's not going to happen, unfortunately. I'm doing well with pros. I'm in a good place. Well, not right now, but I was. We'll get into that later. But
yes. Okay, well, we've got to the end of your time in WZWA, so now we're going to go with the Q&A. All the boys are chipped in with some questions.
All these fuckers asked me.
Okay. Dan Zeppelin, how did you find the transition from yarding to pro wrestling?
I found I went into it with too much of an ego, because I thought that because I'd done yarding that I was top shit.
Yeah.
When I went to EPW...
That's a big mistake right there.
Oh, wow.
When I went into training, I said, I don't know anything.
That's what you're supposed to say. That is exactly what you're supposed to say.
Because they knew I yarded, and I was like, and I said to them, as far as I'm concerned, I know nothing, so start me off with the basics. I don't know anything.
Yeah. See, I originally went to Schwa, I said that. When I went to EPW a few years later, I didn't, because first of all, I'd had the training with Schwa,
Yeah.
so I knew how to lock up, I knew how to bump. Turns out I didn't know how to do either of those things nearly as well as I could.
Yeah.
But I thought I was top shit, man. I was just like, yeah, I can do the shooting star press and blah, blah, blah. Turns out there's another trainee who can do corkscrew shooting star press, and, like, I love him. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck's that stink bug? Okay. So...
excuse my backyard, we're in Dianella, so there's a lot of bugs.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so yeah, so there's another trainee who I'm very close friends with now who can just flip to God knows what. I believe he's debuting tonight for EPW, which I thank good luck to him.
I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, well, Carl and I, Aston and I are going to pro show tonight.
And it won't be a repeat performance of last time we went to a pro show where I was fucking
He was
wasted.
obliterated.
I think I'd had 12 beers before I even got there.
Yeah, and I dropped him off at the bar after the show as well.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, so... No, I found the transition difficult at times because I was put into the mold of Yarda Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got an ICWS chant when Tim Justice and I tag teamed at one training.
The ICWS chant?
Yeah.
Wow, they all remembered that.
Yeah. Oh, he gets Tim Justice, and whenever he goes up to the top rope, they all yell "justifying splash."
Oh, fuck.
Like they rip into
Yeah,
Tim.
no, you mentioned that he doesn't like how they do it, but
Yeah.
that's okay. So any other comments on...
No, the
Because he follows that up with, how did yarding help you in the pros?
Yarding helped me in that I knew my physical limitations more so, and so I mean I knew what I could go for, and I knew what I could do.
Because I know a lot of the time, when a yarder does pro wrestling training or tries to be a pro wrestler, he's got all these things that he's done over the years in yarding, which he does when he's trying to do pro wrestling, and it's a hindrance to him because he's stuck in his old yarding ways,
Yeah.
and it might...
Which is why I agreed to the complete character overhaul in Schwa,
Yeah,
which has helped, because it meant I had to think of different things.
yeah.
Other than the shooting star press, I never used any moves in my moveset in the pros.
Okay.
Which is good, because it means that... Because, like, back when I started EPW training, I was thinking, oh, cool, I'm going to use my old finishers. Like, I even went for an over easy at one training.
Yeah.
And, like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't.
Okay, the next question is from Rusty.
Ooh!
With a cool name like Michael Barrett, where did Delcanho come from? I already know the answer.
Delcanho is my mother's maiden name, and I've just always thought it was such a cool, unique name.
Yeah.
And no one else has it, ever, anywhere. Like, I know all the Delcanos, none of them wrestlers. And I love the name. Like, when I first started trampoline wrestling, my name was just Delcano, just the one word.
And it rolls off the tongue so well.
Exactly. Then I moved to Mike Delcano. And then now I am in the pros, I am the luchador Delcano. So I've successfully kept my name.
Such an awesome
from
transition.
the moment I stepped on a trampoline,
Yeah.
I've kept the same name, which I
Fucking
think
awesome.
is great.
Fucking awesome. And when you first told me, I was like, yes, that is perfect. It's funny, this little white Jewish boy from Western Australia is pretending to be a Mexican.
I never claimed to be Mexican. Someone actually yelled at me, "Why are you speaking English?" I'm like, because I'm Australian. Why aren't you speaking Spanish? Because I'm not from Mexico.
Dan Zeppelin, another question from him. Why did you keep wrestling hidden from all the other aspects of your life? What made you start to post it publicly later on?
Alright, so I didn't tell anyone about wrestling until I was about 18. Because I was just terrified of being, like, socially derided for it. Like,
Bullied for it, like Luke and Jack.
Exactly.
They all dealt with it.
and I'd moved to a new school. When I started ICWS, it was 2010, and I just moved to a new school. And I did not want that to be the thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the fat Jewish kid, but apparently, because that's what I was known as.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Not the fat Jewish kid that wrestled.
No, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
I did not need...
Everything was already
I did
against
not
you.
need the stigma, man. That was... And so after I turned 18, I was really drunk in Israel, and I just had this little epiphany, and I was like, wait a minute, wrestling's awesome, why am I hiding this? Whatever. And so we had like a little WhatsApp group with all the people in my gap year program, and I'm just like, guys, I just need to let you know, I love wrestling. That was it.
Oh, okay.
I just really wanted them to know that.
And from there, you decided that's it. From now on, everyone can know.
Oh yeah, and I found out it's actually a really cool thing that people like. Like, I've actually got girls starting with wrestling as the first talking point, which just shouldn't happen.
Awesome.
But yeah, I was just terrified. But then once people actually think, hey, that's really unique and cool, like, holy shit, I didn't realize people actually do that.
Yeah.
Then also, I think it was easier once I started doing pro wrestling, because it's a lot easier showing people a show with like, you know, a crowd and like an entranceway and music and stuff, rather than like someone's backyard with like a ring. Like like you look like a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carl.
That's okay. Okay. Daniel Johnston asks, what are some differences between ICWS and WZWA? Obviously, he doesn't mean the obvious difference with the
WZWA has ropes.
But what are some of the differences, you know, that you can?
I suppose ICWS was very everyone knew everything, whereas WZWA, it's much more, you're doing this is the finish, you're doing this, you can do what you want. ICWS was far more, I feel like, it was all people from the same background, rather than WZWA, which is a little clusterfuck of people from all these different places.
Yeah.
So ICWS, I'm glad that I was friends with the ICWS people before I came to WZWA, because I feel like if I'd just gone straight up, done the steel thing, and gone, you know, straight to WZWA, I would have not enjoyed it as much.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, just looking through some other questions here. Okay, Daniel Johnston asks, how did you learn to develop more of a character when wrestling, which you struggled with at first?
I guess just by watching wrestling and watching how important it was for the character aspect of it. Also, EPW training very much helped with that. Very much. In terms of my later WZWA stuff, because I slowed things down and I made things count rather than, you know, fast spot festy style from before. Actual character, when I was about a year into ICWS, I thought of making the non-gimmick thing a gimmick.
Yeah.
I was going to make a shirt that said Mike Delcanho, gimmick free since 2010, which I think would have been fucking hilarious. But once the radical movement stuff started and I wanted to be the champion, I realized I needed to have a character.
Yeah.
I need to make there a reason. So the first ever character thing I did was the obsession with winning the championship.
Yeah.
And obsession with being champion and having the belt.
Yeah.
And so that's a very basic heel thing. And from there, I had characters. It was, a good little change for me.
Okay. Daniel Johnston once again chimes in.
Fuck off, DJ.
How does Japanese or independent wrestling influence your own style in the ring?
Oh,
now, keep talking, because I'm going to go for a second. I'll be back in a minute.
I absolutely love Japanese wrestling. For me, it's the hard-hitting aspect. I love hitting forearms. I love doing, like, lariats and shit, and big boots and corner spears. For me, Japanese wrestling, really, it was more about the competition. And for me, that's what I felt when I wanted to wrestle. I wanted to be that guy who came in and thought, ooh, he's tough, you know. It's going to be hard to beat him because, you know, he's wrestled these awesome matches and he pulls out these ridiculous moves and counters. Independent wrestling was really for the flips and the high spots and the cool moves. That's what I enjoy about it. Like something like my favorite indie fed's PWG, because it's a chilled, mixed aspect of high flying and technical wrestling and fun and serious wrestling and spot fest and technical wrestling. And it's just this great big melting pot for great wrestling. So I feel like watching independent Japanese wrestling really got me out of the mindset that the moves that you do are the moves that are in WWE, which is the mindset that a lot of people are in. Like, you notice how many people started doing bloody headlock drivers once Dean Ambrose started doing them. But me, my first finisher that really identified with me was the Over Easy, which I took from Chris Sabin on the independent scene, where he usually uses the cradle shock. So, yeah, I just love Japanese wrestling, and especially Japanese wrestling, NJPW. I love DDT as well, Dramatic Dream Team, which is a more comedic Japanese wrestling fed, because it's just absolutely.
You're saying things that I don't even know of. I never even heard of it.
DDT is the most ridiculous federation you'll ever watch in your life. There's a blow-up sex doll who wrestles. There is a championship belt that has the 24/7 rules, except anything can win. Like anything. Oh. Like some guy was once crushed by a lamp, and the lamp became the champion. The 1000th title holder was the belt itself.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you fucking
DDT
kidding?
is absolutely hilarious.
That's
it is
awesome.
brilliant.
Oh, that is really cutting
I
edge.
honestly, if you're in the mood for entertaining Japanese wrestling, my god, watch DDT.
Okay. So we got through all
Yeah,
that?
yeah, we got through all that.
Okay, well, luckily I came back when I needed to go wee, so I let
That's
you
fair.
have a rant. Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake, DJ. Another one from
Fuck off,
DJ. He's
Deej.
fucking loaded
You know what?
with
Pick
questions
someone else's
here.
question first, and then go back up to details.
Okay, Ryan. Oh, we've already covered that. Sorry, he said thoughts on your return after being away for a year. Also thoughts on the
He just wants me to
return
talk
and
about
falling
him.
Flat on your ass when you entered,
Yeah, we talked about all this, Ryan, you short dickhead.
as opposed to being just a regular.
Just a regular
He's a
dickhead. You're
short
also short.
All right. Well, we've kind of covered that already.
Yeah.
Dan Zeppelin obviously asked Mike, who's asked the best question so far.
So far, DJ just by sheer volume.
Oh God! For fuck's sake, DJ. Look, I'm gonna have to ask a DJ question. I'm sorry. Do you feel that some of your freedom diminishes when wrestling professionally compared to whatever you want in yarding?
Obviously, the freedom is diminished a bit because you're there to fill a void.
Yeah.
And that's a given.
And there's time constraints.
There's time constraints, there's, a lot more move constraints. But I feel like once you find your niche, once I developed the Delcanho character, then the sky was the limit. I could, think of these cool spots, and man, my match with Crazy Train, I loved my match with Crazy Train. There were some great counters, great high-flying stuff.
He had no problem putting you over?
He did a bit.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's a 2-time Schwa champion.
Yeah.
And he just lost clean to a debuting guy.
Yeah, he did that with me in 2010.
He wasn't a former champion
No,
at that
that's
point.
true, but he had been there for a while.
Yeah. And also he was a bit protected because that was a 3-away.
Oh, okay. Of
For you.
course.
No,
Yeah, good point. Good point.
So for me, it was a straight-up one-on-one singles competition that I cleaned him Pinley, and I couldn't be more grateful for a debut match.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, when I found out that was the match, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is awesome.
So, but does the fact that there's not that freedom to do as you possibly please?
I think it focuses me
Is
more.
it too strict?
No. I don't think so.
No?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it's too strict. I think that they, in your training periods, they determine what your strengths are.
Yeah.
And, you know what, perfectly honestly, other people like Jared Slate can tell my strengths better than I can, because he's watching me and watching what I do.
Yeah.
I could do something and think, wow, that looks awesome, and then they're like, no, it wasn't, and you watch it back and it looked like shit.
Okay.
And so Slate knew my capabilities, he knew what I was good at, he knew what I was bad at, and from that he determined a character and a move, well, not a moveset, I helped develop the moveset.
Yep.
And it turned out better than anything, because I wanted to be... I was in the mindset that when I started pro, I was going to be the character that I ended up with when I was in the pros, and I thought of that as the pleather pants, kick pad, knee pad, using Japanese wrestling moves wrestler.
Gotcha.
The top of Federation wrestler. And I now realise, in hindsight, you can't start off as that character.
No.
You have to evolve.
Yeah.
And so the Delcanho character has been the best thing for me.
Excellent. Okay. I'll move along, and yeah, I'm sorry, I've got to do another DJ question.
For fuck's sake.
This is really weird.
Lay it on
This is
me.
a weird question. Do you feel that other Jewish wrestlers like Goldberg or Mordecai are role models for you?
Okay.
Is this a joke?
Firstly,
DJ?
Mordecai was Kevin Thorne, who was playing a
Why would Goldberg-
Christian zealot character.
And why would Goldberg be a role model? Really, I mean,
Actu-
maybe Raven,
No.
or Dean Malenko.
Actually,
I think Malenko's
he's got
Jewish.
something on that. I mean, Goldberg was Justin's favorite wrestler for a long time. Guys like Goldberg, Raven, Dean Malenko, Macho Man Randy Savage. Who else is there? Fucking Colt Cabana. They really are, because to me, having Jewish people there, I know it doesn't mean much, but it's just like, it's something.
Yeah.
It's something. And it's pretty cool to have. And, I would love to meet any of those guys. I mean, Macho Man would be a bit hard to meet. but I would love to meet any of those guys and just have that presence of thinking, hey, you grew up with the same culture I grew up with, and that's pretty cool, and you still got to this point.
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
Like being American is a major help.
Yeah.
Because you have access to these places.
Yeah.
But still, actually, as stupid as that question is, especially with Mordecai, given that was a fucking Christian character.
It lasted
It was like a few months, if that.
Beat Bob Holly in his debut.
You remember that?
Yeah, I had that.
I remember Kevin Thorne's debut. He went over Little Guido.
Little Guido.
Nunzio, man.
Another member of the welcoming committee for some time in the WWA.
Yep.
Okay. Tommy Taboo.
Woo!
Mike, what was it like being schooled at training by Taboo for half an hour when he trained with Schwa that one time?
Alright, so let me get this straight. Tommy Taboo came to Perth for about a week to do a training camp with Soraya Knight.
Yep.
Yep, with, what's it called? Soraya Knight, who is Paige's mother, for reference.
Yep.
And he's been training with PWA over in Sydney. So I went to Schwa training as per usual on Thursday night, and two things surprised me. One, there was a steel cage just set up around the ring. I'm like, cool, this is awesome.
Fuck.
Second thing is Tommy Taboo's in the ring. I'm just like, fuck. Firstly, I didn't recognize him because he didn't have his long hair.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh shit, I was expecting
And he
a
knew
Dan
who you
Zeppelin
were.
clone. He knew straight up who I was, so I went over, said that hi to the usual suspects, like, hey, I'm Mike. It's like, hey, I'm Tabs. I'm like, holy fuck you are.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Okay, this is awesome. Shit. Okay. And so we're going through our usual training. They're training some stuff they learned at the Soraya camp, which is some awesome European wrestling that I tried to use. I used actually in the start of my match with Zib. Some great stuff in there. There's a hole in your pants. And
That's okay.
yeah, and so we went through training, and I know that you're being a dickhead, Tabs, by saying getting schooled in chaining, but you're a fucking great chainer. He is a great chain wrestler, and he just did some shit that blew my mind. I schooled him on a lot of things, mostly just being a sick cunt, but chaining, he definitely has the upper hand on me, and it was great to have almost have a steel cage match with Tommy Taboo.
Isn't it weird?
That's just weird.
Isn't it weird to all the years that have gone on in backyard wrestling in Australia for your paths to cross in that manner is so
To
weird.
cross
a
at
Soraya night
a
training
Thursday
camp.
night training thing for the Southern Him Wrestling Alliance in EPW's ring with the EPW steel cage around the ring, having a chaining European
Right,
match.
right,
Have a European chaining match inside a steel cage with Tommy Taboo. And I literally drove him home, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened?
In 2010,
I was quite glad.
you would have never been able to...
No, and I was quite glad because we got on very well. I got to see him again because he came to visit at the Yarding show, and he also came to watch the EPW show.
Yeah.
And so it was great seeing him in those two little...
I felt so bad, and I just want to touch on this quickly if he's listening. I felt so bad for that week because he stayed with me the week, and that was probably the worst week I've had with my depression for fucking years. I was just not there at all. I tried to spend some time with him when he got home from training, but I just was not in the mindset to talk to anyone, and I feel bad about it. And yeah, so if you're listening, Tabs, once again, I've said sorry to you so many times, but I'm sorry that I was just not all there that week.
And you're ugly.
And you're ugly. That didn't help the situation either. From there, Mitch asks...
Son of a bitch, how many of these people ask fucking questions?
well, we've kind of covered this, but what are your thoughts on the Radical movement and
Loved it.
later the brief Radical Army?
Loved it. I said all I need to say.
Yeah, you've already said that.
Don't need to add more time to this.
Okay, I'll skip past all the stupid questions.
No, really? Let me see. How many people are going to ask how my shin is?
No, Johnny V asks, Mike, I've just snuck into a karaoke booth by myself. I'm semi-intoxicated. What should I sing before the Asians find me and hurl me off the site? And he's taking a screenshot here.
Holy shit.
He actually was.
He wasn't joking. Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
Anyway,
Nice.
that was yesterday, so
Okay.
so he's not.
So
there.
he's
not
either
in
fine
there.
or been killed by the Asians.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Nemanja.
Nemanja Knuckles.
Well, first question he asked was thoughts on wrestling Knuckles, but we touched on that before, and how the match went.
Mm-hmm.
But he also asked how much of a sick cunt is Knuckles in person.
He is probably just one of those people. He's one of those people that when he rocks up, you're happy.
Yeah. Oh, Nem.
Oh,
Hug,
Nancy!
big hug,
I
what
was
up,
watching
bro?
WrestleMania 31 at Daniel Johnson's
Yeah, I
house
saw
with dark
pictures.
eyes. And then Nem walks through the door, and I'm just like, this is so cool. I literally haven't seen you for like 3 years. What the hell? This is so cool.
Okay, well, the next question he asked, which is... Look, there's two.
Oh my
and
God,
they're really
how-
good ones, actually. Have you had any big-ass regrets in your time with backyard wrestling?
Ooh. Big ass regrets with backyard. Well, one was picking up JD Flame for that inside cradle. That was stupid. Not really. I can't think of anything that like really stuck out as something I regretted.
Like a big regret.
Like
Like,
a-
there's little ones, like
Obviously,
maybe
like-
you and I should have planned before our first WZWA.
Yeah, like I wish I'd done some matches differently and blah blah blah. But you know what? Like
Everything that
no,
happened was good.
no major regrets. No.
And he also asks, are there still some things you wish you got to accomplish in backyard wrestling?
WZWA champion, easy.
And it probably would have happened if you stuck around.
Fucking hope so. Yeah, no, because like that was a real belt. Like the Velcro on the back, but it's a belt.
Yeah.
It's metal. You tap it, it clinks.
And, you know, I mean, I'm happy that you're in the backyard title history, but it would have helped the heavyweight title if you were in there too. I
Yeah,
feel.
other than fucking Low, because Low's in there. Fucking Low. Fuck you, Low.
Okay, Blade has chimed in with 6 fucking questions.
Oh wait, Blade's actually helpful, so these will actually be good questions.
Okay, first one, we'll try and pop through these, but if you need to elaborate, that's fine.
give me one sentence answers. Are any of them possible to? Are anything impossible to do sentence answers?
Some are... let's just go through it and see
All
how
right.
we go. Number 1, who's the one person you regret having not faced the most in WA?
Antilochus.
Okay.
Easy. That is something that I assumed would be asked, and the answer came to me straight away. Like Jacob,
Because you know it would be a fucking good match.
he is me. There are so many similarities between him and I.
similarities. Fucking, for example, when I saw you, I thought you had raw talent more than anyone, and then I saw Jacob. Exact same feeling that I.
Oh, he is far more raw
Your
talent.
hardcore title reign, his backyard title reign.
I just absolutely was, fuck. I would give anything to face him one-on-one. Like,
Anything. Your pro career?
hopefully, Jacob, man, if you do what you've been talking to me about, then that would be lovely.
Oh, he's talking about leaving, is he, little cunt?
Not leaving, just like once WZWA folds, he could potentially want to.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be awesome. I think that's something he should definitely pursue.
Yeah.
Because he's got that.
I think, like, out of, if I was to say, let's say 3 people in WZWA who, if they don't try training, I will be disappointed. Jacob, Monnet. My God, if Monnet does not try an actual training program,
Monet.
I will kill someone. I can't call him Monet, he is Monnet. And I know it will never happen, but Clint Marshall.
Yeah.
It will never happen, but shit,
He'd definitely flourish.
he would flourish.
Because his character as a revolutionary is just perfect for pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, Blade, once again, how did you feel about your run as backyard champion in 2014?
Great. Like, I got given this championship as soon as I came back.
I think it was a shame that we had this Elite Alliance thing go on so long that you didn't get to defend the title as much.
Yeah, because I had like 3 non-title matches in a row, then lost it.
Yeah.
So. Well.
Okay.
Live and let
now he's asking, this might take a while, what do you consider to be your top 5 matches?
Oh, son of a bitch. 5 matches? Supposed to think of this on the fly? 5 matches. Okay.
Number 1.
Ooh. Number 1 or number 5 first?
Just whatever.
Oh, 5?
So,
Okay.
number 5.
Okay, no.
Doesn't have to be in order.
Okay, any 5. So,
Yeah.
I quit match with JD Flame.
Boom.
4-way match at ICWS Aussie Anarchy 2014.
Awesome.
30-minute Iron Man match against Clint Marshall.
Yeah.
WZWA. This is Aston Crew in Last Man Standing match.
Alright, cool, I got in there.
And fuck, one more.
Would it be weird for me to say maybe Mykonos at Winter Warfare? Would that possibly be one of your favourite?
It was very spot festy.
What else was there? Surely there's another Clint Marshall, maybe a match with
I don't-
Phaser or...
Phaser, that is a good match. I
Could that possibly be in the
enjoyed
top
that
5?
match. Maybe even
Ryan Tate. I don't know. There's a few really good ones there that are on the brink.
Monet, Backyard TV, Dark Eyes, Backyard TV.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good too. Okay, look, we'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like Blade,
We got 4.
Great question, but 5 is pushing it.
We got 4. That's all right. Number 4. What is your most memorable feud to date? Your favourite feud?
Clint Marshall.
Clint Marshall. Boom.
That's a given. That is a given.
Okay, the next question is like top 5 matches, but it's even worse.
Top 5 catchphrases.
No. Who do you consider to be the top 10 yarders currently in WA?
Fuck
top
off,
10.
Blade. I'm not doing top
10.
10. I will do top 3. Alright, Blade? I'm not doing top 10.
Do top 5.
Fuck you. And this one will have to be in order, because,
You don't have to, but...
Alright, so no order. Alright, so you're here, so you.
If I wasn't here, you wouldn't say me.
No, I'll still say you. I'm saying you're here, so you're the first one I thought of.
Okay.
Antilochus, Luke Monet, JD Flame. Who are the other people?
Ryan Tate.
Oh, Mykonos.
Mykonos. Okay. Last one from Blade.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, wait. No, this has already been covered. What was it like working the dark match in Israel for your first taste of pro wrestling?
Great.
Yeah. But anyway, that's cool. We've already talked about that. And Chris Parker.
Let me guess. Wait. Let me guess. Can I guess the question?
Oh, you already know it.
Can I guess the question?
Yeah.
Well, saying you already know it means it's definitely what I think it is.
Yeah.
How's the Michinoku driver?
What was the initial thought when you dropped me on my head and knocked me the fuck out for a couple of seconds?
Okay, so in this Clash of the Triads match against Team Hardcore, I was training around for a bit, hit a few scoop slams with Chris. I was like, Michinoku driver. I've done Michinoku drivers a billion times. And for some reason with this one, I was just on a roll that event. I just dropped people on their heads a fair bit. I dropped Dan Zeppelin on his head with Over Easy, which looks sick.
Yeah.
And then this Michinoku driver with Chris, I just dropped him vertically. First thought was, shit, can he walk? That was my first thought. Can he walk?
Yeah.
He could.
Yeah.
So we're fine. Can you remember anything? Yes. Okay, good, we're fine. And just kept wrestling.
Okay. Well, that's actually the end of the Q&A.
Oh, thank God.
All over.
Really? No Monet questions? No serious Monet questions? I'm surprised.
I'll have another look, but I don't think he did ask any questions.
Oh, dick. Fuck you, Monet.
Anywhere in there? Nothing.
Dick. Anyway.
Oh, okay. No, he did a joke question. And what's it like not having a full penis?
Fucking great.
Okay. Well, we're done with that bit.
Alright.
I guess I'll just end it on... maybe, I don't know, do we do word association, or...
I don't know if you want it. That's fucking your choice, man. I don't know.
Alright, yeah, we'll do word association.
Right, let me clear my mind.
Because all the usual questions, like do you have any regrets, all that stuff.
It's all been covered.
It's all been covered.
Right, so I'll just answer the first thing that comes to my mind.
Or, or a story, whatever.
Alright. No, the first word thing's funny.
Chris Cryptic.
Fucking brilliant. Just brilliant. Like, fuck, the shit he pulled off. Like, I remember... Okay, yeah, it's going to turn to stories.
Yeah.
There was one thing I saw that I just thought was the best wrestling thing in a while. Was his tag team finish with someone where Chris Cryptic uses a...
Can't remember his
an
name.
air raid siren for the finish.
Yeah.
Which is a Kryptonite Crunch, a Celtic Cross, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Someone else did a vertebraker. He caught the person with their head in his arm and then held their legs over his shoulder, and they did a double team vertebraker and Kryptonite Crunch. And I was just like, that is just brilliant. So I've always remembered that one spot.
Yeah.
Just genius.
So Cryptic's your favourite.
Yeah, he was definitely always my favourite when I watched In Your House Wrestling Alliance.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Kilowatt Chaos.
Psychopath, but cuddly as fuck.
Rusty.
How the fuck can you still flip like that?
Dark Ice.
Scary as fuck, Heart of Gold. So pretty much you're very similar to Chaos.
Tommy Taboo.
Shaved head, bald, ugly cunt fuck.
MC Cruel.
Eli. Nah, brilliant pro wrestler. Really has established himself in the pros really well.
Nick Ariel.
Fuck off. Nah, I love
That's
Nick. Way too much talent to be squandering on doing bullshit things. Also, the most entertaining heel thing I've ever seen in my life, with the getting everyone to move their chairs and then just leaving them there.
Just tipping them over.
Just tipping them over, having no payoff. That was just brilliant. That was...
Alex Stone.
Fucking nicest bloke I've met in a long time.
Dan Zeppelin.
One of the other nicer blokes, and just always very hospitable, and likes to buy weed off me.
Wiki Nick James.
Fuck, I miss you, man. Jesus. And I'm so glad you're getting back into wrestling.
3 Doc.
Oh, cuddly as fuck. So much strength, it's not even humanly possible. And also one of my weed dealers.
Brandon Cage.
Fuck, man, you had so much potential. What the fuck? Like, you were gonna like make your mind up on something, dude. Like, I don't want to dictate to your life, but don't just like bounce around between hobbies, because you can't further in the hobbies without actually sticking to one of them.
And he was certainly going to further it this year, but
unfortunately,
he just seems he's totally made his mind up.
He was also going to become the Schwa, and we were all really excited.
Yeah.
Because his raw athleticism is absurd.
Yeah.
His leaping ability is just like, what the fuck?
It's a shame.
It's a real shame. Yeah. But
Daniel Johnston.
Hilarious motherfucker with more. It is such a shame there's such a good wrestling mind with his physical limitations, because if he didn't have the limitations of everyone that he has, he would be easily the best wrestler in the company, without a doubt.
JD Flame.
Fuck, so underrated. So underrated.
Clint Marshall.
Best opponent I could have ever asked for, and yeah, my exact opposite.
Brian Lowe.
Fuck off.
That's it?
That's it.
Nothing else?
That's all.
Why?
Because he's low.
Come on, there's got to be something you can say.
Nah. Man, I remember when you first started impressing me. It was that one match against Dark Ice at IWS Day of Destiny, where you just fucking put your body on the line, you motherfucker. So sometimes you got a bit too into the hardcore stuff. It's a shame that you're not really wrestling that much anymore, because your last match was against Phaser, and fuck, that was a surprisingly good match.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You're a funny cunt. You look like a lesbian.
Phaser.
Known him my entire life, only really known him the last year or so. And, raw strength is incredible. He's a very strong guy. He gets wrestling, it took him a while, but, we had a great match.
Jack Wallace.
Jesus Christ, stop fucking asking me. Man, you have improved so much since the first time I saw you. Thank you for having us in your house all the time. Thank you to Noel as well. We all give you shit, man, but know that we don't actually hate you at all. Like, you're a good kid. Like, yeah, just fucking stick to it, man. Like, push, keep going. Yeah.
Alright, 3 more. We're going to do 3 more.
Who the fuck's
We're going to do 3 more.
Please.
Alright, sorry, not...
Like, who the fuck is 3 more?
Alright. Rex Regan.
Oh, man, your ego gets in the way because you have so much fucking talent. You have so much fucking talent. Don't let your ego get in the way.
Aston Crude.
Fuck you. No. Easily the best all-round person in WZWA in terms of in-ring talent, persona, promos, appearance, and just presence. Easily the best all-round. I personally, think you should have stuck with the pros a bit longer. That's my thing.
Maybe one day I'll go back again, but
Maybe
I've got
one
to get
day.
myself in real good shape for
exactly.
that.
And,
and I'm only going to do EPW if anything.
And I think that's a very smart decision.
Yep. And lastly...
Who is last?
Mike Delcano.
Am I speaking to myself?
You're speaking about yourself.
Alright, man. Nice cock. You do good with it.
You've touched it more than any other.
Yes.
Yep.
Other than my
think about that.
Other than my creepy uncle. Fuck, man. Like, I like to think that I'm talented. I like to think I am.
You are. For sure.
I've got a lot to improve on, and EPW training has shown me how much I have to improve on, because, everything I thought was wrestling, there is so much more to it, and there's so much I have to learn and so much I have to improve on.
Yeah, and even if I went there for training, I'd be like, day one, I don't know anything.
Which is,
I already did Schwa training.
Which unfortunately is the thought process you have to going into it, because
yeah, definitely.
I need to going into it, everyone was just light years ahead of me, and, I really hope that, if there's a time capsule thing, and, in 20 years, I look back at this interview, I would like to think that I travelled the world, and I really tried, and I really...
So that takes me to the final question, which would be, what does the future hold for Mike Delcanho? Delcanho, Michael Barrett, in any incarnation.
You know what my end point? My end point would be, if I get signed, that would be pretty cool. Like, that'd be alright. I mean, I'm 5'9", I'm a little bit overweight. Yeah. I'm about to have shoulder surgery, which will keep me out of action for a fair bit. I would deem it, a success if, I just made the rounds in the US or in Japan or somewhere. Like, if I ever wrestle for NJPW, let's say the base level in each country. If I could wrestle for NOAH, that would be awesome. In America, if I could wrestle for PWG or Ring of Honor, that would be incredible. And in Mexico, if I could wrestle, I don't really know the lower level, but for AAA or for Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre, CMLL, that would be awesome as well.
Alright, well, there we have it, Mr. Delcanho. Thank you very much. I believe by this time next year you will be an Australian Backyard Wrestling Hall of Famer.
Fucking hope so.
No doubt about it. I think by the class that happens for 2016, you'll definitely be voted in.
I fucking hope so.
And thank you very much for doing the podcast.
We're shaking hands. You can't see this.
Shaking hands. You can't see it, but thank you very much.
I'm now rubbing his scrotum.
We're going to have a good night tonight watching some EPW.
Yeah, we're going to watch some good wrestlers.
Yep. And so, thank you again, Mike. Any last words, and then we'll say goodbye.
I just hope the WZWA continues. I just really sincerely hope it keeps going, because, it would be such a shame for so many of you who I know wouldn't keep going if it ended. And that's a real shame, because there's so much that is left to happen.
Yep. Okay, thanks, bro. And I will catch you all next time on the GBYWN Australian podcast. I'm Aston Crude, alongside Mike Delcanho. See you next time.